I will tell you. Yes, we are live now. Hello, hello world, hello Bangladesh, hello anywhere beyond planet Earth, if you will. Anyway, this is QMA, Quazi Mahmood Ahmed. I'm going by my initials for this. Welcome to Leadership Coaching with QMA. And today we have a guest, Ms. Jenny Hyatt, who is an executive coach among many, many things. She's runs her own company called the Global Quotient. Today, we are starting something very interesting, very different. But before that, I would like Jenny, please say your hi to the world.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. We're looking forward to interacting with you all and answering your questions, and hopefully you all learn a little bit more about coaching and how it can be used to help us and help our businesses. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Because in my post on Facebook, because apparently we are both on our pages live, and as it happens, you and I were so busy doing coaching, consulting, training, facilitation, we forgot to develop our Facebook page. We used to operate from our, profile page and all. I'm being very informal, and that's starting off by saying this. So, but I'm excited because now we will be able to create value for our colleagues, our followers, those who have liked our pages. And as I said, this is the beginning of a journey, especially in the context of Bangladesh. Jenny, coaching is very much misunderstood as a term. I'm not saying MNCs, multinational companies, misunderstand. I'm not saying educated corporate executives misunderstand or others. But generally, in our society, the term coaching alone, without the executive coach or the leadership coach or the life coach, coaching only is so familiar, and it has such a negative connotation. And it's not only Bangladesh. I hear this in India, probably in the subcontinent, which is used for admissions. Coaching is called. It's basically hacking the exam, in the sense that they don't prepare for exams. Rather, they don't study to know, to learn. Rather, they prepare for exams. So anyway, without much further ado, I would like you to say a few words about that. You've worked in many parts of the world, in Dubai, in India, in the US, all over the world. So tell me about it first. Let's get the word right, huh?
Well, thank you for sharing the context, Quazi. And I mean, I'm from the US, but I've been living here in India in 12 years. And yes, I've seen that same definition of coaching here. And rather than saying coaching has a negative connotation, I would see it a little differently and just say that there are different definitions of what coaching is. And maybe because that one's the common one with cracking exams, maybe that's the one that people think of first. But the type of coaching that we're referring to is actually a different definition of coaching. There's nothing like hacking an exam. Maybe hacking life or hacking performance or hacking success. Maybe we could look at it in that way. So there are actually a lot of different definitions of coaching out there. And I think, that exam coaching, that's one side, but that's not the one that we're here to talk about today. Another way that coaching...
That's right.
Yeah, another way coaching is used is like in sports, right? When you have, people playing cricket, I guess you guys play cricket a lot there in Bangladesh like they do here in India, right? If somebody has a cricket coach or, a football coach or whatever, they, that person's kind of, on the sidelines, and they're looking at the game, and they're also helping each player, enhance their performance by, giving them, suggestions and helping them, practice, better and make adjustments. And that's yet another type of coaching. And when it comes to leadership and executive coaching, it's yet a different type of coaching, okay? And when we look at leadership coaching, executive coaching, really the intention is to help that leader be really proficient and competent in their job, as well as to prepare them to move up, to be promoted, to move to the next level, to gain new skills, to get new perspectives. And in my experience with leadership and executive coaching, that doesn't, it's kind of opposite to what we would do in sports, where we would give specific suggestions and tell somebody what to do. Instead, we would actually ask questions and we would get that person to themselves. So it's completely opposite to what many people think. And it's actually a great way.
That's the wonderful point, if I may interject now. You said it wonderfully that in both views in the subcontinent, while you said correctly, even exam coaching is coaching, but that's not the predominant meaning. That's one of the maybe 100 different niches of coaching, whether it's about, health coaching, exercise coaching, you can name it, so many different ways, business coaching, even under life coaching, there are so many areas, relationship coaching, there could be even divorce coaching. I mean, so all kinds of coaching. But when we want to use the word in the sense of corporate, for the corporate world, even for nonprofit, even government high officials, but the way you said it is just the opposite. Even when they say, oh no, I get it, it's about the sports, right? This guy pushes them and they say, you have to perform, go, do. And you said it, it's just the opposite. Now, I know I didn't introduce you properly because you have to say a few words about your background, and I might say a few things later about mine too. The point is, nobody knows what coaching is when it comes to in the meaning that we use it for leadership coaching and executive coaching, which is our today's main topic. I would limit it to leadership and executive coaching because maybe another day I'll pick up life coaching and go in depth. But before you introduce yourself in terms of your background, I know you did psychology masters in the US, you were a certified ICF coach, and so on and so forth. And you're doing a lot of coaching work with corporate sector, with C-suite executives, and that makes you uniquely qualified to appear here in my show, because I want this to be on the record. Although right now only 114 people are watching, but this will be in a permanent record. So anybody who wants to know what was the first session about coaching, difference about this coaching and that coaching, we will, in simple terms, clarify. And meanwhile, I will ask our friends to ask if they have any question, if they have any comment. I'll be happy to, as much as possible. I will ask them to bear with me because this is the first live session I'm doing using new technology. So apologies in advance if I cannot take everyone's question or I cannot treat properly. So off to you. How did you come into coaching and your journey? Please tell us.
Thanks, Quazi. So it was when I was doing my degree in organizational psychology in California. And there, during my graduate program, we were introduced to assessments and executive coaching. So that was actually where I first got trained in executive coaching. Of course, I wasn't working as an executive coach at that age, but I was learning the skill. And it was when I moved into my first job and was working, as a trainer and learning consultant. Definitely my skill of coaching, came into play. I was able to use that to help people. And, of course, and then as I moved up the corporate ladder and moved into management positions, then I was able to use the skill of coaching to coach and to develop my team, to help them develop skills that would make them more effective in their roles. And actually, it was about in 2015 that one of my team members said, you know, Jenny, you should actually consider being a full-time coach. And, you know, he was somebody that reported to me. And at that time, I just said, oh, you know, don't flatter me. Like, you know, and I really just thought maybe he's just saying that just to butter me up because I'm, you know, he's reporting to me. And I didn't really take it seriously. And then over time, I kept hearing other people giving me this suggestion. And then I said, okay, I've heard this repeatedly now. Maybe I actually need to look into this. And when I started my own business 7 years ago and was working as a leadership consultant and was doing coaching and training for other companies, there were a couple projects that I didn't get because I was not a certified coach. And they wanted somebody who was a trainer as well as somebody that was a certified ICF coach. And ICF is the International Coaching Federation, the largest body of professional coaches that really sets standards for the competencies that a coach should have to be effective. So it was that point in time where I said, okay, if this is stopping me from getting great clients, then maybe I need to go back and do a certification, even though I had been trained in coaching. So I embarked on that journey of becoming a certified coach. And so that was my first, what we call an ACC level program, an associate certified coach. And I did that one. And then I started coaching. I was really realizing that I was personally feeling happier about doing coaching than I was training. And the reason for that was when I was going into companies and training people, I would train them for the day. You know, we would have a good time, get good feedback, and say bye. And then I never knew what happened to them after that. I didn't know how did they go back and apply the knowledge, or did it get them better results. And that's when I started coaching people, I could see that growth in the person. I would know whether they've taken the knowledge and applied it or not. And then people would I could see like how they had grown. And that's when I really felt, wow, I really want to focus more on coaching because I can see the change. I can see the difference. And that was really motivating to me. And so I continued pursuing profession, went and did another coaching certification, did my Marshall Goldsmith stakeholder-centered coaching to, you know, really work with executives where you involve stakeholders in the process of coaching and get their inputs. Because in the Marshall Goldsmith way of coaching, it's like, well, if we can't see the change, then it hasn't happened. Or if we can't measure the change, then it hasn't happened. How do we know? Because it's one thing as a person to believe that you've changed something or you've improved in something. It's another thing if it's observable to others. So that was where you know, I learned about the stakeholder-centered coaching process, and then I did another coach training program to become a PCC level coach, a professionally certified coach, and now I mentor other coaches who are going for their certification.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just loved coaching, and so when I did my NLP trainer as well, I got certified as a life coach. Through another company I was working at, I got certified as a career coach. So I really got like a lot of different flavors of coaching and learned coaching from different angles. And I think that has been the most rewarding part of my career so far, is being able to coach, because it's a skill that I can not only use for myself, coach myself to move, but it's something I can really help with my team members, and it's a great skill for helping clients. So that's how my journey started, and now I work across industries. I mean, I've done projects with Google, Boston Consulting Group, Deloitte, Vodafone, Citibank. I work with all kinds of industries, though I came from a banking background, because I don't need to be an expert in their industry or business, because leaders across industries, they have the same challenge, right? They have teams that increase their performance. They want to engage people. They want to develop people's skill sets so they perform better. And they want to grow to the next level. So it's actually great that I don't have an expertise about all of their businesses, because if I advise somebody and they do something and it doesn't work out, they would come back and blame me. But if I and they figure out what they want to do and they go and take action, they're more bought into the decision and they're more empowered to make their own decisions. They're also more empowered to accept their mistakes and learn from those. So I coach people all different areas, whether it's finance and it doesn't matter. I'm able to help them. And that's the power of coaching.
That's the power of coaching. And many of us, this is for the first time, some of us might be listening. So it's quite okay, because it's not going to be so clear, because it wasn't clear to you, as you told initially. It wasn't. Nobody gets it. I'll tell you my story soon, but before that, I think I have what a wonderful question. I will respond to it, but then I want you to answer this interesting question that Hassan Mahmoud Mohiuddin asked. In developed countries, there are coaches for, their CEOs, chairman, whatever. Would you please explain why it is needed for higher posts? I mean, why? They're already very good, Why?
Yeah. Great. That's a great question. Thank you so much for asking that, Hassan. See, the higher you go, the more lonely it is, right? You can't talk to your direct reports and ask them for advice, or you can't go to them and tell them, hey, I'm struggling with this, or hey, I'm struggling with managing you guys, so give me advice, right? So you need an external, objective, third party who you can have confidential conversations with, who you can be vulnerable with, who you can tell that I'm having this problem or that problem, and you get an unbiased perspective. Because if you talk to people inside your company, in any organization and anywhere, there's always politics, right? And then you have, as a leader, there's certain things that you are allowed to share with people and certain things that you cannot share with people. And that's something that you can do with a coach, because you have a professional relationship. It's bound by confidentiality. And
absolutely.
Effective to think differently than an organization would not think. So that's actually, it's almost necessary for these senior leaders to have a coach to help them, because they are human as well, right? So we may look at them and hold them on a pedestal and think, wow, they've already gotten here. But, even things that, we think in our mind that we deal with. So imagine somebody in the top has a lot of responsibility. They have a lot of people they're responsible for. They have a lot of money that they're responsibility for handling. So it can be a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. So a coach can help to manage that.
And as you probably have mentioned, in my words, I would say, where would they go to if they're not sure about something? They're all human. Just people are, sometimes they have to wear a certain face. I know many leaders who have confided to me, I cannot name names, he shows his biggest possible confidence in meetings, but he privately tells me, Quazi, I don't even know what will happen. Tell me, I said this, I believe this, what do you think? Or then I ask him, what do you think? And then the conversation gets rolling, of course. So it's a sounding board. He's basically sometimes, I think, talking with himself, because his brain has a lot of chatter of confusion and worry and stress. And yet, when he talks with me, talks with you and other coaches, he gets a lot of clarity. The blocks along the way are removed. Because otherwise, why would people, frankly, pay so much? Because I know, I was telling you about 6 months back, so what are your training going on? And he told me, what training are you talking about? I'm a coach. I do coaching. Tell you what, that really affected me, because until then I was doing informal and I wasn't certified with my first leadership coaching program, that how to coach leaders. I mean, I haven't got certified yet as one-on-one to do one-on-one coaching. Well, right now I'm hiding behind coaches don't need certification. I know both are true, but then, leaders or companies have difficulty to accept you, right, without credential, unless you become a big brand. And nobody's going to ask Marshall Goldsmith whether he has certification. He's a source of certification. So I hope that answers the question. Our friend understood that they are lonely. They have their confusion, they have their stress, they have nowhere else to go because they do not show their vulnerability and weakness to their junior colleagues or not even to the board, because board has entrusted him or her with the responsibility to make that profit, sell those items. And he said, I'm giving you a fat salary and so on. It's your job to do it. And even a spouse or children, nobody, and he cannot talk even with she or he cannot talk with a friend. And you said it, confidentiality. Oh my God. I read the ICF code of, what do you call it? Code of conduct or code of, my God, the list, and you to maintain that certification, you have to have a very high standard of ethics, and that gives confidence to the coachees, those leaders who seek these services. Right. I'm just looking at it. Oh, did you know that today is my birthday?
It's your birthday, Quazi?
It actually is.
Happy birthday! This is your birthday gift showing up to your show.
I know. I told you that this is going to be a bit informal first show because I could have easily delayed 10 days, a week, and get more organized and all that. But I said, no, I'm going to start something on my birthday. And this is I'm going to remember for a long time. So yeah, thank you. Some people are wishing me happy birthday, as you can see. Anyway, let me take another question. I think a very good one. Yeah, I guess so. How do you distinguish between mentoring and coaching? The question. Mahmoud Rahman Khan, thank you. This is a powerful question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Khan, for asking the question. So the way I look at it is mentoring is actually the bigger umbrella. And when you are a mentor, there's going to be times when you're mentoring somebody and you're guiding somebody. And mentors have and often an expertise in a particular area, and they're guiding you in that area. And coaching is a great skill for a mentor to have, because not all the time will the mentor be able to tell the person exactly what to do, which is where the coaching skill comes in, to be able to ask questions and to get the person to think for themselves and to make decisions for what they want to do, right? So it's kind of like this, if you go to somebody who's a mentor and you say, oh, I have an option, I could take this job or I could take that job, what should I do? Well, really, that person cannot live your life if they don't know what all the consequences. But that mentor can ask you questions to say, okay, so what do you like about this particular job? And what do you like about that one? And, what attracts you about this one? And what, attracts you about that one? So they can actually ask you questions that will get you to think, right? And so coaching, I see, is a subset skill of overall mentoring.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, as I was saying, that this is a good question, I often also find one missing thing that we don't understand. We need both in our life. I mean, mentors can give such a great boost to your career. They just say, do this, do that, don't make that mistake. Wisdom sharing. And often mentor is a senior person who has been there, done that, so knows the ropes, as they say, and that way having a mentor is great for those things. It's like they give us fish, they don't teach us how to fish, if I were to use that analogy. But then mentors, as you said correctly, when they're not coaches, you are becoming dependent, and your potential, you're not connected to your inner self and what you are capable of doing. Your confidence, for example, your belief in yourself doesn't come out unless, among many things, coaches are involved. This is my 2 cents. Now, I think I found another interesting question. It's from Ankur Chandra Kuri. I'm not sure it's from Bangladesh or from India, but anyway, oh no, it's Bangladesh, I think, thinks it addresses me as Sir. I used to be a teacher, in North South University, and now I'm stuck with the Sir. No matter how much I don't want it, it is not leaving me soon. So go ahead, let's read it. Dear Quazi sir, Jenny ma'am, thank you for the wonderful session. Is coaching more important than practical job experience? That's a good one too. Comparing stuff.
Comparing, yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's more important than job experience. Definitely, as you get more job experience, it definitely helps. Like for me, for example, had I started coaching at the age of 20, the kind of questions or exposure I would have had and the kind of questions I would have asked at that age probably would be very different than now after having been in the workforce for 20 years. So I definitely think experience can help you be a better coach. And it's important sometimes, as coaches, that when we're playing the role of coach, that we're very clear that we're being in the role of coach, and that our job is that of asking powerful questions to create insight, in the clients that we're working with. And sometimes that we don't always just give the answer, and that we hold back to let the person discover the answer. Because part of the learning actually happens in the discovery process, right? When somebody goes, so at the end of my coaching session, right, and somebody decides what action they're going to take next, even if I think that's not a very wise action, and if it doesn't have very high, consequences, I would definitely help the person think through what could be the consequences of taking that action. But I would never tell them, oh, that's not going to work. I would say, okay, go and try it out. And, when we meet back in 2 weeks, let me know how it went, right? And if it didn't work, that's part of the learning process that person went through, that I tried something, it didn't work. Okay, so now let me try something different, because we're going to learn something through that process. So I would say, the learning is what happens between one coaching session and another coaching session. And that's where the learning actually happens. And it's through taking action, because sometimes we don't know how well something's going to work until we launch it, right? If you take something like, the Apple phone, did we know that was going to work when it was launched? Probably not, right? That's why BlackBerry and Nokia didn't change so early, because they probably didn't think, right? But you don't know sometimes until you take action, until you take that next step and move forward, and then you can see. And then you can start adjusting things and making changes. So
yeah.
It's
right. No, absolutely. It's not... in fact, as you probably have said, you said that we need both. But what could be one of my ideas with regard to this question is that I have been I got the opportunity to coach an individual who had 15 or more years of experience, and yet the company was unable to keep him in this position because a younger person actually was soon exceeding this person in a certain functional area. I cannot name names, or even a company, and then the whole point was this individual has learned from the school of hard knocks, a street smart guy, and the other person did an MBA. In a meeting, he had the right terms, he could capture the ideas eloquently, and was impressing the senior people. And the other person they saw was becoming jealous and was not. Yes, he's selling, but he was about to be department head. He's not supposed to sell. Only if he goes with others, then sell happens. But his junior colleagues are unable to sell. It's so interesting case. I don't want to go beyond this. So you see, you may have a lot of experience, means nothing. Jenny, you wanted to say something? Yeah. Maybe it rings a bell.
Yeah, that is a prime example of the difference between knowledge and applied knowledge, right? When we go to school and we get a degree or we get an MBA, oftentimes it's very theoretical in nature. We get a lot of knowledge, right? A lot, and we spit it back out on a test and, and score good marks. But putting that knowledge into practice is where the challenge is. And that's where coaching comes in. So imagine like the first time you had to, let's say, drive a car or drive a bike with gears, right? In a classroom, or I did when I was in school, we had driver's ed. We sat in a classroom and we learned how to drive a car. Like we learned what is a steering wheel and what is an accelerator and a brake. But the first time you sit in the car,
oh my God.
that's scary, right? It's you don't really know what to do. And then you're suddenly trying to figure things out because you're trying to apply the knowledge that you have, right? And usually somebody's sitting next to you, kind of, coaching you and helping you figure out, the way. So that's, so having just a knowledge and a fancy degree, not, necessarily take you far. You've got to be able to apply it and take action. And that example you shared was a classic case of that, because at the end of the day, somebody running a business, I want people working with me who can get stuff done, not who come in with fancy certificates to hang on the wall. And I think the same thing goes with coaching. While ICF has, laid out amazing competencies to help coaches know what is expected and to bring a professionalism to the industry, it doesn't mean that just because you get an ICF certification that you're going to be a successful coach, right?
No.
Because you have to have all these other skills like the technology and the marketing and how to network with people and talk to people and get business and close contracts and sales. So there's so many other skills outside of a piece of paper that make you successful. And I see somebody has a question here on the screen. I can see Ashima is asking, how can we develop?
Amina Afroz is a leader, L&D leader in H&M in Bangladesh, the largest, outsourcing company from Bangladesh. Although we are doing challenging time, I don't want to mention about not so much. We are in challenging time. Maybe that's why coaching is so important, because you can do on the phone, on Zoom. You can do coaching because you cannot meet face to face. But still, this can be done. I'll give you some examples after you answer this question, and we both. So Amina, let's try with your question, and then I'll go to a question from someone in Malaysia, actually, UPM. He's doing his master's, and he's a very fantastic guy, Imtiaz. I'll take his question about qualities of coaches. I'll come back to that later. So why don't you go ahead with Amina's question?
Yes. So Amina's about how do you develop is one, I think it's trained as a coach, somebody that knows the skill of coaching, that can teach you on the theory and the skill, and then somebody that can mentor you. Because even if you've gone through a training and you've learned all the right things that you're supposed to do, the learning actually again comes in the practice. So that's why even in ICF we are required to be mentored, and that's why now I mentor other people, because they take the classroom knowledge and then they start coaching somebody, and through that there's sometimes some things they apply, some things they're not applying so well, and then they get feedback, and feedback is what helps you as a coach develop your ability. So all coaches need a coach, and all coaches need a mentor and somebody to help them improve their skill as a coach until they get really good at it. So so there are lots, you can go to the ICF website and you can find lots of ICF approved training vendors on there. Planning to be a professional coach that's doing it, professionally. If you're planning to use your coaching skills inside a company, I would say you don't really need to go and invest that much money to become an ICF coach, but even if you get trained through another coach. So I will be launching my coaching course here in the next 1 month. So if that's something you're interested in, you can more than welcome to reach out to Quazi to connect with me. And I want to train corporate coaches. I want to train people in corporates how to coach their team, because when it changes the power dynamic in an organization to flatten the structure a bit, and it gets people to think of themselves, instead of thinking like I'm a boss and I know best, it gets them to think like a coach. And how can I leverage the knowledge of the people that are younger than me, that are coming in with a different experience, and learn from them and develop them at the same time so that they can perform better. And if I can develop them, then I can also move up, because somebody will be able to move up into my position. So it's really changing the mindset about, shifting from being a leader to being a coach. And actually the Google study, one of the studies they did called the Oxygen Project, was actually revealed that one of the #1 skills that leaders need today to be effective is to be that of a coach.
Absolutely. It has been proven beyond doubt. What is the website? Did I write it correctly? Coaching Federation or coachfederation.org? What is the website?
It's either coachfederation.org or coachingfederation.org. They recently changed it.
I see. Okay. So at least, I mean, around there. So Coaching Federation, that's the reference you made. I also want to have some tongue-in-cheek responses to Amina. I think I was reading a book. It says, if you start the habit of not advising anyone, not giving your children, your spouse, and others, get rid of the advice monster. Your son or daughter comes to you, says, Papa, Ammi, what's the meaning of this word? You say, yeah, where do you think you can find it? You can ask him a question or her a question. I know you cannot do it all the time. Then people will say, my God, he or she doesn't know anything. But I'm saying, go into the habit of asking questions in the family, at work. And of course, Jenny has to say the formal professional side. But here I am as a facilitator. I hope you approve this, my saying this, that you can read about. It's like there are coaching for dummies and Idiot's Guide to Coaching. First read this, because then you get the idea what it is and what it is not. God forbid, don't think you become a coach, or for that matter, anything else. But conceptually, it's accessible to you, anyone. Because when I conduct training programs, I remember, I can name names. I mean, not name them, meaning the name the companies. For example, I'm very grateful to Coats Bangladesh Limited, who hired me for the last 2 years for several day-long programs. It was not fully on coaching, but quite a big chunk was that how the executives, especially the managers, and how can they understand the first step of coaching, what is and what is not. That part I shared. Because I think I mentioned to you, I now have done this inside out coaching certification, that global certification by Alan Fine. There are several ones, but this is globally anywhere. I'm certified to teach a class, facilitate rather, teach is not the right word. I facilitate a day-long program to build leaders as coaches, which is a very important thing, because they end up saying things like, if somebody comes with a problem, they say, oh, you don't know. It is this, it is that. They give the answers. And every time they give answer, more people are coming to them. Oh, and they feel so important. Oh, they come to me. And this person doesn't get his or her job done. There's reverse delegation going on. Other people are picking on his brain, his energy, and at the end he stays up to 8 o'clock or who knows what, because he has been working to help others. I don't know, I can go on and on. So practicing getting the best out of others, if at the end no answer, of course you can give. And as Jenny has said before, then you become a kind of a mentor. If coaching, mentoring, I have read a lot about it. From there I'm saying, if in case somebody is stuck, is not moving, then you can even ask, do you want me to share some ideas or one idea? And then say, yeah. Then you say, do you think this might work? So this is not mentoring. Actually, you're still a coach and you're trying to be still not, you don't want to take the ownership. As Jenny, you have correctly said, oh my God, that's the big word, ownership. So I hope with this, we'll have a good start. And Amina, I can call you up and talk more. You're in my town, so that's not a problem. Okay, I'm going to go to another question. Qualities of coaches was another question that came from Imtiaj. Any quick tips, qualities? I know the Coaching Federation has a long list, isn't it? About the process, about how to do it.
Yeah.
Just I'm going. Okay, I think no, I got it. I got the question. Here you go. Imtiaz is at University Putra, Malaysia. I was there on February 28th to present a keynote on leadership at their they had a conference. All Bangladeshi students in Malaysia, coming from 20 or more than 20 universities. Not the students, student leaders from each university came. That was a great opportunity. Thank you, Imtiaz, if you're listening. I hope you are. So, what are the attributes, quality of a successful coach? Looks like he wants to be a coach. Good sign.
So one of the things as a coach is, as Quazi's already mentioned, is about asking powerful questions. And of course, when you ask the questions, you need to be ready to listen. So one of the attributes of a good coach is someone who's able to listen, and listen to not only what is said, but also what is not said, because that also tells you a lot and helps you ask even better questions to discover that. The other important quality of a coach is that you need to have integrity yourself, because you need to be able to build a trusting relationship with this person for the coaching to be effective. And so building relationship and building rapport with a person is a critical skill of a coach, and which means turns into an attribute of you being a trustworthy person. Another important attribute of a coach is to be neutral, which means you're not judgmental. Because if we judge somebody, who are we to be judged? You know, who are we to decide that this is good or bad? Because what's right for one person, what's right for another person may be different in the kind of decisions that they're making. So we don't want to judge somebody. So I think these are, you know, a few of the critical qualities of a coach, is to be a good listener, not judge people, and to trust.
Absolutely. I mean, I would recommend, as I said before, that Coaching Federation has it, but I think I would add also, I mean, so many qualities can be added, but some people do not get fired up in other people's development or other people's growing in front of their eyes. I would say then don't become a coach, because your whole job is to see how to unblock, or for that matter, help that individual. I would never say help. This person will do it, but you're just playing a catalytic role in framing that person's worldview, in that person's, as I said the word again, I would say bringing clarity into his or her life. So you have to be excited seeing that this person found his or her own answer, and you may not be recognized. You don't have to have an ego that I'm such a great coach. Of course, for marketing purposes, you can say that such and such person, I'm humbled that I'm coaching CEOs and coaching others. I feel lucky when several multinational companies, over a span of many years, at least 2 multinational companies hired me for one-on-one coaching. That one is Bayer Crop Science, a German company in the space of agrochemicals, I think they call, and the other one is the paint giant. It escapes my attention right now. You have in India too. It's a global global leader in paint industry. Anyway, so that's my honor. I feel I'm humbled because of so many experience. I've taught and I have conducted training for, facilitated people who are more than 100,000 people, and worked with private sector, non-profit and government, and that also in the Prime Minister's office. And most recently, I was in Afghanistan, as you know, where high government officials, director generals, they report to the minister. I met 2 ministers within 10 days of my presence. I was somehow lucky. It doesn't happen. They were all surprised that how could you meet? Because there were other consultants, it didn't occur like that. might be by chance. But all I'm saying this not to show off, but to tell you that after someone who is so curious like me, and you need to be curious, you learn, you're open, you're humble, and also at the same time you're courageous. You humble is one thing, but lack of confidence is another. You actually know you solved so many of your problems, other people's issues and challenges, and you also made fair share of your own mistakes. That's okay. So that gives you the agency, feeling that you can do it. That's really important. A lot of what are Kochi? Another similar question, I think. Let's see. Oh, my good friend Kausar Alom. He's a big guy in the sense that a leader in the financial industry. You were in a bank. I think he is or he was. Very nice to hear from you through your text. What are the good qualities of coachee to be successful in obtaining coaching? Wow, look at these. I'm so impressed. Who are these people? They enriched our life by asking questions like that. Now about coaching.
Yes, now about the coaching. Thank you. So one of the things is open to the coaching and open to the experience, and because otherwise it's not going to work, right? If a coachee is very resistant and doesn't want help, then no person can make them do something different, right? So the openness of the person needs to be there first. And so that's why, even when I'm going and coaching clients, usually we do a one-to-one chemistry session with a client first to make sure that there is some type of chemistry with the coach and the coachee, so that because trust is the foundation of the relationship. And if there's something that's just not right in that relationship, then it's going to be really hard to make any progress in moving forward in the coaching. The other thing is that we have to realize, as the coachee, the person who's getting coached, is that they are responsible for their own actions, and they are responsible for the consequences of their actions. So they have to take their own personal responsibility, and the coachee is the one that has to take the action. Coach can't take the action for you. Coach can help you, figure out the actions, can, help you set, meaningful, smart goals, can encourage you, motivate you, etc. But at the end of the day, it's the coachee who has to take the action. So those are some of the things that I can think of that are qualities and attributes that are needed for a coachee to be successful. They have to understand what's in it for me, right? If they don't understand what's in it for me, then it's going to be hard for them to move past that resistance and to want to move forward. What about you, Quazi? Do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, absolutely. No. I have this habit of adding ad lib, whatever you say. Thank you. No, I will only add, because you said it, this time I almost have nothing to say except a synonym, perhaps in a different way. You said they have to be open. You know why people are not open in my country, or I don't know, in some other as well? They have a big ego. Who is going to tell me I know better? I am sorry, world's best of the best executives. I'm not even talking about sports people. Okay, they have it, you might say. But anywhere in the world, even, likes of, Marshall Goldsmith and many others actually work with so many top leaders of the industry in all over the world. And the coaching industry has grown so much. Maybe in a future weeks, I will share the figures, because I'm doing my own research. I told you, I came just 2 days, my birthday. I gotta be here. I gotta start something new, and it's done. Well, not yet done, of course. We're already into 48 minutes or so, technically 12 minutes to go, and I wonder if we'll be able to finish in 12 minutes. Maybe we will exceed a little bit. So, Jenny, one question, and the question is in front of you, and I really think there's a lot of merit, because for the same reason where Kausar Bhai said, Mr. Kausar said that what qualities should be in coaches to be able to receive have the coaching conversation to help him. Actually, we are there to it's not for my help. Of course, professional coaches get paid. Why do they get paid? Because they make such a big difference. If they don't, they get fired. I mean, they're not hired for long. That's okay. You have to take responsibility. I mean, not any and every person who claims a coach is a successful coach or capable coach or really making a difference. Now, this question is interesting for another reason. I would put it this way. Some coaches or some leaders believe leadership is inborn. Leadership is born, not made. And no matter what you say, I have a pet saying, I say leaders, kids are born or children are born. So I avoid the issue. And then I say, okay, there are exceptions, but exceptions don't prove the rule and all that. So how do you respond to this? Can leadership really be learned? Because some people still believe that the world is flat, that nobody has gone to the moon. Oh, sorry, I'm going to some other area. So here, there's some people believe no one can be leaders. So how can you teach? How can you, are we teaching?
Leadership. Yes, leadership can be learned. Yeah, I mean, why do so many companies invest in leadership development? If leadership couldn't be learned, they just wouldn't bother. They just go hire all the people that were natural born leaders. But yet companies invest millions, billions of dollars every year to groom their leaders and to develop them. And I mean, training is only one way to develop leaders. And you know, coaching is another way. And that's why a lot of focus now, that's why a lot of companies have realized that even after sending people to training, they see that their leaders haven't changed. And that's usually because it wasn't that it was a bad training or that they didn't get the right knowledge. It's that some leaders have trouble implementing that knowledge, putting it into practice. Like the same example when I gave you about the car, right? It doesn't just naturally happen. You learn something and you just start doing it and you're great at it. No, it takes practice. It takes feedback. And the coaching comes in to really help the person take the knowledge and apply it. And so, yes, leadership can be learned. And I would say it's learned better when you have coaches who can really help the people move along your journey. If you just expect it because they had knowledge in a training and they're going to be able to apply it, that's probably why you're thinking it may not be able to be, but it can. You may need a coach to.
I'm totally with you. I have nothing to add for a change. I have, because after some time we will conclude, we will talk about I have an idea. Of course, there'll be some other guests in between, but I have a thinking that maybe a month later or so, we can have a coaching session online. I mean, at least a sample, not the real one. And then our friends and our audience can have a feeling that how it really works. And it is even better if I'll take an actual person who would come, no pre-planned. Are you game?
Yeah, I'll do it. I did it last week.
We will do in a future session. We'll do a contest, like who wants to be a coachee, and maybe Kausar Alam may want to be because he wants to know about a good coach's characteristics. So we can have him if he wants to, or others. So sure. If you allow me, there is another. Let me see. So much participation. I mean, I just can't tell you how much humbled we both are, huh? Aren't you? This is so cool.
If you're all learning, type what you're learning new in the chat box.
Right. If you just give me a sec,
sure.
Just lead presence and.
So while you're doing that, Quazi, so one of the things
go ahead. Go ahead. No, you were saying something. Yeah.
While you're searching for a question, then I thought I would engage the audience. I'll just say, like for me, I mean, last year was one of my, biggest years of growth. And I think that was because I also had coaches. So I have a spiritual coach, I have a business coach, I have a life coach, and a lot of my mentors who become really successful, they have also a health coach, a finance coach. I mean, so I'm seeing this model now of people that are really successful, they have coaches. And it's because those coaches can help them push through their own limitations and barriers and see things and help take them to the next level. So I see this movement now. The industry of coaching is growing. And the reason why it's growing is because it works. So
I mean, business people wouldn't spend money for nothing. I mean, we have in Bangladesh some business people in old Dhaka or in some other places. They have a lot of money. And sometimes they don't organize training programs, typical training programs. And some trainers tell me, oh, they are not intelligent, they don't organize training. I said, don't think so. I think we are not able to convince them that our training programs bring result. Did you think like that? Then they said, no, I didn't think like that. I said, think. Maybe he has tried and didn't work, or maybe he would believe something else. Why then you think I am now thinking of, together with other trainers in Bangladesh, other coaches in Bangladesh, I haven't done my research within Bangladesh, I'll be doing it. Are there any ICF certified coaches? I'll find out. And there are people who have received training abroad, like one gentleman, Kamrul Hassan, received coaching training from Harvard University. There are in Robi, one of our telecom providers. Over the years, many of them received training, and I believe they may have been certified. ACCs are there probably. This is something that I need to find out. So yeah, having said that, I want to take a comment from Anna. Amina. She goes by her short name also. Yeah, Anna. If after coaching and training, leader is impatient to see result, then big boss needs coaching and training too. Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm. So, Amina, when I'm going into corporates and I'm working with leaders, I prefer to get the company to do a top-down approach, because if I start somewhere in the middle, their response is always, okay, now Jenny, you've taught us this and we're coaching our people, but my boss is still not coaching me. Can you coach them too, or can you train them in coaching as well? So coaching actually works most effectively when we start top down, because then it becomes a ripple effect in the organization where even the top leaders are modeling the leadership style. So actually coaching becomes a leadership style and an effective style at that. So yes, we need to kind of take them from the top down. That's the most effective way to do it. It doesn't always happen that way, but that's the most effective way to do it.
You and I both know Daniel Goleman's that seminal article at Harvard Business Review, where he showed different leadership styles, something like 20 years back. I wouldn't remember. And among all these styles of leadership, and you said it most appropriately, that coaching style of leadership appeared to be the best style of leadership. And listen to this. One of the reasons why many clients of mine hire me again and again, because those who attend give me good rating, as simple as that. And why do they do it? I would tell you the one secret today. I respect them so much, I don't tell them. I ask them often, just as I'm asking you. I'm in the asking business, because that way often they know, well, there are fill in the blanks somewhere, and I would do that. I will bring in research findings with their practical wisdom, but I don't assume they don't know. I have a lot of respect for them. So I believe inside they have. My job is to do what I call inside out, meaning not outside in. Most of us too busy with our parents, with our children, with our spouse, friends, colleagues. Oh gosh. This is a big challenge in the country, in the world. And thank God, developed countries, otherwise they picked up 20 years back. I think India picked up 10 years back, I'm told, or now it's growing, as you correctly said, in a big way. One of my students, I'm showing him, Shahzada Yesi Arafat Shubo, everyone wants to be a leader. Hardly anybody there who wants to follow. What an interesting observation. I will take this first, and
Go
Jenny will talk later, share her wisdom later. Now, you are so right. No company says we want followers. No books say, I will make you a great follower. Yes, that is part of the problem. But Dr. Barbara Kellerman of Harvard University, even 15 years or so back, wrote a book called Followership. The only reason she says she wrote the book is that nobody talks about followership. You get, God knows, 2.4 billion hits, not even millions. If you write leadership, check it. You see that billions of his leadership, but followership comes so much less. Anyway, the point is, and yet, not all followers are followers. First of all, they are team leaders. I have recently learned through a program, of course, theoretically, you have to say leader follower for that. But the gentleman who is an executive, I think he's one of the directors of ECB Capital. I think his name is Akhtar or something. Anyway, sorry if I don't remember his full name. He said in his life, when he was in the UK as a professional in the financial industry, he said, I always say team leader, team members, no, leader, team members. And then recently, I did not a course, but I attended a conference of ICLIF. ICLIF is the premier leadership and governance institute in Malaysia, and they have a leadership theory and where they use the term co-leaders, and it's not just fancy co-leaders, because they're talking about such followers who can even challenge in a positive way. When a leader makes a decision, comes up with an idea, that person doesn't become a follower when gives best ideas. That follower doesn't become a follower when he is like an activist, believes in the values of the company, and works hard, has the grit to take things forward. So I'm trying to say, followership or followers have a bad rap. It doesn't have to be. To me, a follower is a potential co-leader. A follower is actually a team member. But there are followers, I must admit, who are isolates, who talk behind, who cannot give a different idea, even if that is good for the team, good for the company. So what do you do then? They are followers, and I will not be surprised if they were in Jack Welch's company when Welch was the CEO. He would have put him on C-level and kick that person out of the company, because he would, his book would, if you read his book, it'd tell you A and B. Every year, A's and B's remain and C's go out. That was brutal, though. Nowadays, things don't work like that. But I just wanted to make some references. Yeah, off to you. What is your take on this?
Yeah, I worked for Jack Welch's company, so I'm familiar with.
Oh my God, you did!
I did in California.
Oh my God. I didn't realize that.
Office and oh yes, yeah. So what I think about that, the way I look at it, Quazi, is like there are leaders in different areas, and so there may be times where I'm leading somebody in something, and there may be other times where I'm looking to other leaders in other areas. And I think, it's that's the way we have to look at coaches as well, right? That there are different coaches in different areas, and I think in leaders as well, they have different streaks. And I think we follow different people for different reasons. And leadership, it's not a title, it's not a designation, and that's something I see in corporates working with them. Is oftentimes people think because I was given a title of a manager or a director or a VP, that makes me a leader. No, it doesn't. It's just on paper. It can disappear tomorrow. But a leader is really who you are as a person, and people follow you because of who you are. And in an organization, maybe if you have a designation and people give you respect as a designation, then I would call that compliance. They're being compliant because they have to, because they feel you're in a position of power. But it's really not commitment, which means when you're not there, what are they doing behind your back? Who knows, right? So I think a true leader is somebody who inspires commitment, not just compliance.
Bullseye. Leader's job is to create other leaders, not followers. I mean, this is like so basic. And yet, there are leaders, Amina and many others here will agree with me. We find that they want to keep followers. I mean, they don't want team members, they don't want co-leaders. Insecurity. I say that I should look up, not look down. I would rather want to see my junior colleague take my position. In my industry, what I'm doing is I'm grooming many young trainers and others. Now, probably you'll see within a year or two, I will be a certified ICF coach like yourself, hopefully, fingers crossed, and you are my coach. In public, I'm telling you that. So you're guiding me. So I will be, as we say, inshallah, I'll be doing it. Now, I know I was so excited. I'm 5 minutes crossed 1 hour, so we must close it. But we should not do more than. But little did I know, there are 82 people still with us, and at one point 114 or something we had, and they are loving it, or maybe they want to encourage us, so they give us a good review. It's okay.
A few minutes. If we need to extend, I'm okay.
Okay, so let's stay, because I need you to tell me how to contact you, perhaps your website address or your page, actually. So you can talk about it a couple of minutes later. I want to take 2 questions and then call it quits. Okay. So this one first. Shaiful is a bold fellow, a fantastic learner. I am so impressed. We just recently met. It's been a few months now, but he's a huge person in terms of his capacity to learn and curiosity wise. So yeah, psychology, ask the right person.
You see the question here on the screen is, as a coach in learning and development, how important is it to know psychology? Well, I mean, I just happen to be from a psychology background, so it probably helps me. However, you do not need a degree in psychology to be a coach. I mean, there's a lot of people from all kinds of backgrounds and industries that get trained as a coach. So there's no prerequisite background to get trained as a coach that you must know psychology. So it's just, it's going to help in different ways, right? But it's not necessary. So you can join any kind of coaching course without knowing a background in psychology. And you will learn the psychology that you need to know in that course.
Absolutely. Not a requirement. Now, maybe the last question, I may have to say, sorry, because every week you will get us, our colleagues who are so passionately with us right now still, how can a company benefit from coaching? I must say, this gentleman, Mohammed Ghulam Kibriya, is a sales professional. I mean, he's an entrepreneur actually, but in a young man who was so much inspired by many of us, and he claims he's inspired by me. I'm humbled, and he started a company just a week or so back called Future 8. So he didn't mind take one part of my company's name, Future. Is anybody can take it, and then he added 8. Today, I think from 7 or 8 o'clock, he even has a live Facebook show on this practical leadership, how to become an effective leader. I was so humbled that he has the grit, he's courageous, and he took 2-3 sessions with me. He shared with me what he's going to share, and I said, yeah, this sounds good. And I have to say, he's the youngest. It's like just born facilitator trainer. So his question, how can a company benefit from coaching? Very basic question, but a good way to finish with this.
Yes. So there's a lot of studies out there that show that coaching has given many times return on investment for companies that have invested in coaching. And especially if you're in a sales organization, even better, because it's even easier to measure the numbers in sales, right? And I can give you one example, Mr. Ahmed, of when I was in an organization back in 2005, and one of the things that was happening was we were training people for 2 weeks, and then we were putting them into their sales role, and we weren't seeing they weren't performing as well as we thought. So we me and my head of department, we put together a program that included training as well as coaching, and we said, let them be with us for 1 month. So it's going to double the time of the onboarding. And initially every VP in the business said, no, that is doubling our onboarding time. That's going to be more expensive. You're doubling our cost. How can you do this? And we're not okay with it. And we had to go to the CEO at that time. If anybody's familiar with Anthony Shea, we had to go to him. This is one of the Jack Welch companies. And we went to them and we said, just let us do one pilot batch of people. We will put them through this 4-week process where we do 2 weeks of training and 2 weeks of coaching. And we will upskill them and get them ready. And within the first 1 month, those salespeople were performing better than the people that had been on the job for the last 6 months. And suddenly every VP, every vertical saying, you know, people through the 1 month program, we want coaching, because the return on investment, it was proven in the numbers. So it is very effective if you have, effective coach and using the right process, then it gives you ROI. And, even if you don't measure it, even some of the companies that work here in India where we don't really measure ROI as much as clearly as we did there.
True, it's also very difficult process, actually. Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
But have the leaders, how does it benefit for you? I just had a company who told me that we are not going to do we did a 360-degree assessment for the leaders before the intervention where we had training and coaching, and we were going to do a post and we were going to measure it. Well, at the end, they said, we've seen all the changes and the results and the behavior of the leaders and everything we wanted. So we don't even need a post 360 to measure, because they could visibly see the changes in the behavior of their leadership. And those leaders were developing their next line of leaders. So that's another way that it benefits, is it created a change in the culture of the organization, created a change in the leaders themselves, and it also created a change in those second line leaders that were reporting to them. So there are many benefits of coaching.
Absolutely. Oh, our good friend Musharraf, who invited you, the FBHRO president, Musharraf Hussain, is congratulating us. And, you were one of our keynote speakers, if you remember. So thank you, Musharraf Bhai, for being with us. Thank you for your comment as well. I just
happy to see you here. I met him in Pune when he came here to visit. So glad he's here. Mr. Musharraf.
Right.
Meeting you again sometime at the conference.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to add to what you said, in the sense that in Bangladesh, we need to create such stories. I'm saying Bangladesh, because I want to first focus where I am based. Although I work in Malaysia, in Afghanistan and other places, but even I sometimes work in India. But I have this thing in me that we have some Bangladeshi coaches, and with global coaches like yourself and others, we want to create an ecosystem, if that is the right word, so that I know some companies who will be very happy to be part of an experiment, if you will, because as with anything, if it is something new, they want to understand, is this something that works? And the case study that you talked about and many others, we need to follow. How did it work, and why the results were the way they were? I mean, so that really inspired me, that particular example, and that's why that question probably was the most appropriate one. I'm so glad, and yet now we have even more people, but we have to close in 5-10 minutes, maximum 10 minutes, maybe less. We have like jokingly they say, coronavirus may have a second coming. So there's a second coming in our following. The number is increasing a little bit. No, jokes aside, let me tell you this. Today, on the record, the questions were there. This will be on our YouTube, my YouTube. It will be on our pages, your pages, my pages. And it was just natural. We just, a few seconds before we started, we went to your page. And so I think sometimes that's how it works best, because you are a professional, I'm a professional in my world, so we don't have to prove anything to anybody. But we wanted to add value, create value, and this is just the beginning. I really, really want to thank you. I mean, it's not finishing now, but the fact that when I started this initiative, leadership coaching with QMA, QMA stands for Quazi Ahmed, in case anybody is wondering. You'll be happy to know that we are soon creating a group within this page. The group name will be the same name as Leadership Coaching with QMA, and our much more value addition will take place there, because that interview we are talking about is not going to be this live thing, coming and going people. We'll do for some dedicated people who really want to see the next level. And so we want to share some ideas, some websites, and so many other materials also for knowledge. I mean, not proprietary materials, but materials about coaching that which are in the public domain, so that you can use it at home. I will not make coaching. Of course, our purpose was executive coaching, and we have our executive coach, leadership coach here, apart from the fact that she's also a career coach and a life coach and all certified. That's amazing. But we want a coaching culture, and not the coaching culture I started talking about, the coaching culture where potentials are reached. We can do, each of us can do more than we could do alone, because many people think they can alone do a lot. And yet research on coaching has consistently proved, executive coaching especially, leadership coaching. I'm not making a big distinction here, but usually, executive coaching means it's the chairman, the C-level, chief executive officers, chairman, board kind of people. And when you talk about leadership coaching, generally it also means it could be head of the departments, leaders, managers. Would I be right, Jenny? That's how I saw the distinction coming up. So yeah, so I'm taking my time. Let me be leadership coach, and while you enjoy basking in the sun, being an executive coach, because you have deserved it. You have done all this for so many years. Come on. I'm not going to say Rome was built in a day. So having said that, I have the pleasure of asking you to share your page, which page, and then if anybody wants to, I have picked you as my coach. I don't need to tell everybody that it's a professional relationship, which means I need to pay, and I otherwise you wouldn't be my coach. So those things they can separately discuss with you if they want to take it. That's not an issue at all. So off to you for how they contact you, through which means and so on. Thank you.
Well, I think so. One of the things that I'll say is that being busy and working with various corporates and flying around, and most of my business was built on word of mouth, and I just got referred. So I'm like Quazi. I'm getting equipped and I guess acquainted with all the social media. So I've started a YouTube channel, but there's only one little intro video of me there as of right now. So you're welcome to, connect there. There's going to be content there in the future. LinkedIn, if you're not on LinkedIn, you really should be on LinkedIn, because that's a great place to connect with other professionals and to have a professional profile. So if you're not yet on LinkedIn, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn and connect with me. It'd be great if you could just mention in the message that that you met me here through Quazi Ahmed, and and through this platform, or FBHRO or Bold or Future Leaders, to give me some kind of context so I know where you're connecting from. Another place could be on my Facebook page, not my personal profile, but my Facebook page, which has my name, Jenny Hyatt, on it. And you can connect with me there as well. And where else? I'm also on Instagram as well. So I'm getting acquainted with all the various platforms that are there. But I think the best way in a professional context is to reach out to me on LinkedIn, because there you can send a private message to me as well. And I'll also give you my company website is www.theglobalquotient.com. I also have my personal website, jennyhyatt.com, where you can also enter in your email ID as well. And I think those would be the main ways to connect with me. And I think one of the things I would ask all of you to do is, Quazi and I have been here with you guys for a little over an hour, is to maybe take a screenshot, click a picture of the screen, and post it on our Facebook page, and make some comment about what was your takeaway for today. And I have a special gift for a few people that take this action and create some engagement on social media. So I'll pick a few lucky.
I'm just learning from you. I should have requested people to share on their pages, but these things come gradually, I think. But you created a good precedent that if they take a selfie on this mobile or laptop or anywhere, and they send to you, then you will send them a gift. Okay, you're cool. Thank you so much. It's been 1 hour 20 minutes, so people will be angry with us, but they are not. They're still there. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. So, with having said this, thank you for being at Leadership Coaching with QMA. I keep on saying Quazi because recently I changed it to QMA as a brand. One of my legal coaches advised me on this, so I took his advice, and it has benefits, I'm told. Anyway, having said that, thank you once again, Jenny. It's a pleasure. I want to thank finally to all the members of the audience, friends who visited us, and who many of whom promised to me that here they will visit again. I am so grateful. Jenny, you and I are so grateful to them. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for interacting, asking questions, and look forward to meeting you again sometime.
Okay. Bye-bye then.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And happy birthday, Quazi.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye. Bye.